you're doing. All right? But my thing about it is, and one of my philosophies is, be disciplined. Okay? We do the same drills every day to start out practice in my group. And then we break off and go into maybe a variety of other drills now and then, but I've got my favorites that I do almost every day. So they're disciplined in that. They're mentally disciplined, then I make sure they're physically disciplined, and then we go into my other philosophies is to be physically fit and to play the defensive way it's made to play. And fundamentals is one of the biggest things. That is the biggest, especially at your level. Fundamentals. I coached at the Junior Braves for 2 years because my kid was coming up before he went to Boone. And so we had a lot of kids in those 2 years that went to Boone. And we used the same terminology and things like that, and a lot of them were ready to play. And those seniors, it was 07 when we went to the state playoff game. So a lot of those kids had good discipline when they were, you know, the age that you're coaching now, and good fundamentals. But what I start out with is I teach a numbering technique, and your kids can learn whatever you teach them as long as you sit them down there and make them learn it. All right, we have a 1 technique here, or excuse me, a 0 technique here, a 2, that's head up, 4, 6, we got a 2, 4, 6 over here. This is a 1, this is a 3, this is a 5, those are shade techniques. Okay? This is a 9, inside is a 7, which we hardly ever use, and we sometimes run a 2I, that's getting a little more technical. That's 2 inside. All right, there's a 3 over here, 5, 7, and 9. All right, we teach them those numbers, the whole defense, except for the defensive backs, they don't need to know that. But the front line and the linebackers need to know those numbers because we start using techniques. And when you start learning the language, then you can talk to them in football language and they know what you're talking about. All right, so when I first start teaching is alignment and then area of responsibility. The first defense we go over is 50. So we call them a nose guard, tackle, and backer, backer. All right, then we got corner, safety, if there's 2 tight ends, and the balanced defense. And I'll go over the coverages later if you want to hear any of that. But I'm just going to get to the philosophy on how to start teaching a group of kids how to play a total defense. All right? So his area of responsibility, and unless you want to hear it, we can talk later about technique. His area of responsibility is from the nose of that guard to the nose of that guard. Okay? You got to be a tough little nose guard. Okay? This linebacker's in a 3 technique, and we line them up at about 4.5 yards to start with, and they vary 5 to 4 depending on their game plan or situation. All right? So his area of responsibility is the nose of that guard to the nose of that tackle. Same with him. Okay? So that's the B gap. We start calling them gaps. All right? Then the tackle's responsibility is from his nose to his nose. Okay? And then the end's responsibility is from the nose of the tight end to the sideline. Okay? Now once they understand how to line up and take care of their zone or their area before they go to the ball, they have to protect that area before they go to the ball, then they have to take a proper pursuit angle in the direction of the ball. All right, I'm sure you all do pursuit angles. Okay? All right, so we teach them that. They got to know the numbers. And they got to know that philosophy right there. Okay? Now, then I go into the keys. You know, what each person has to look for. For example, the tight end or the defensive end. What are your keys? tight end near back ball. He's heard me say it a million times. Okay? I say it every day in practice to somebody. All right? They get sick of me hearing that. He does not move from his area until he reads tight end, what he does, then whatever the near back does, and then the ball. So he plays his position, and then he's got certain things he does when that tight end does something. He looks right at him. He blocks down, he closes down, and looks for near back, which is usually an off-tackle play and a fullback. And he knows what to do right there. Okay? If play goes away, or excuse me, if the end tries to hook him, then he fights the hook. We work on that drill, how to fight the hook block. How to defend that down block, and how to defend the turnout block. Those are really the only three things that defensive end is going to learn at that position. Then he's got to know where to go. If he was as fast as that tailback, this guy's hooking him. If he was as fast as that tailback, then he can come up and make the play, right? But he's a defensive end, or else he would be a tailback. So you got to take the shortcut to the sideline. Best tackler on the field is Sammy sideline. All right, so our philosophy is run them to the sideline. They can't go any further. All right, if play goes away, this end here checks. If it's a toss, he stays. He becomes a linebacker. You don't chase. You're just wasting it to chase him. If he's drilled good enough, and then reverse does come back, and he stops and gets back in his position. If he keeps going, then he's on his proper pursuit angle. All right? Now, tackle, same thing. He reads his key. Linebacker, basically what I teach a linebacker is first step is in the direction of the guard's head. That's your first step. Now you're reading into the backfield over the guard's head for flow. And then we go into different techniques after that. Okay? Your level, if it comes your side, you got to protect that B gap right there. If it goes away, you got to stay one step behind that ball carrier so you don't get cut back on. Basic fundamentals. We do that even at his level. Every day we work on different blocks by that guard. Okay? Now, any questions on that? Because I'm going to move to something else in a minute. This is just basic fundamentals. Teach them how to line up in their area of responsibility.
This is a question that's been kicked around by a couple of our coaches. Our division's moved up to high school rules. Are you allowed to put your nose tackle over the second high school?
Yes.
Because our other rules was they would not line that up. They had to be in the spots.
Okay, but now they're allowed to.
Yeah, now we're playing high school.
Okay.
Yeah, but I thought we still had I thought it still said we could line up a guy over the center.
That's what I thought.